Yo, I'm Paintbrush Samurai. If you're new to the channel, welcome on in. If you're already familiar with the channel, thank you so much for being here. Let me take a minute to explain what these 5-minute retro game reviews are going to be. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to play a game for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to record that gameplay, cut it down into 5 minutes, and give you my opinion on the game. I'm thinking about going through the whole NES library with this method, but I mean, we'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna just do it as I can, and hopefully this will be something fun that we can explore together. The first game on this list, technically the first two games should have been either 1943 or the 10-Yard Fight, which is a football game. But I wanted to go with something a little bit more interesting, at least that I found more interesting. So I chose the third game on the list, which is the 3D Battles of World Runner by the company Square. So Square, as most of you know, is the same company now famous for the Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger, and Legend of Mana, but the 3D Battles of World Runner is a very early Square game. In fact, it is also coincidentally the third release that they made for the NES in North America, preceded only by King's Knight and a game called Thexter, neither of which I have ever heard of. But I'm excited to hopefully find them and play them through the course of playing all of these games. This game is actually super neat for such an early NES release also. So it uses a scrolling effect that gives the impression of a 3D space similar to several of the racing games of the same period. But the main goal of the game is to leap over large pits before you and dodge enemies and obstacles along the way. And also to pick up stars as you run through the stage. But one thing that I found really interesting about the game as I was playing, I accidentally, I think, hit select, and it actually puts the game into a 3D mode, where it separates the image into offset red and blue images. So you were supposed to, I guess at the time, put on some, the old 3D red and blue glasses and just play the game to get that sort of a 3D effect. And I did take a little bit of time to look at some of the reviews of the time, and it said that the effect didn't really work well. And I have no way to test it currently, unfortunately, but I do find it very interesting and forward thinking that Square thought to, make this interesting, kind of a 3D game, and also try to up the ante again by throwing in this 3D effect. And I guess they did this with a few other games at the time, but currently I do not know what the names of those games are at this time, but hopefully we find out through the course of our exploration through these games. So I found the first stage to be moderately difficult until I finally got a hold of how the character moves around. Moving left and right feels really fast. Also, there's no attacking that I found in the game, so you have to rely on dodging until you get to the boss at the end of each world, where you fight in a Harrier style, if you know the game Harrier. Many seem to find this to be a Harrier clone or ripoff, and maybe it is, but I found it very interesting in its own right, and the fact that Square pulled this off on NES hardware combined with the speed that this game runs at, it's very fast. And after the first stage, I felt like there was a pretty steep difficulty spike. Also, some of the enemies can seem a bit cheap. They kind of like follow you when you're trying to run past them, and they will smack into you even if you feel like you've kind of gotten past them, if that makes sense. And it's also one-hit kills, so if you touch anything, it's back to the beginning of the stage, which, by the way, each world is set up into 4 stages to run through. So once you get through all 4 stages, then you get to the boss, you have the boss fight, and you move on to the next world. I did find some secret areas, at least in the first world, that are accessible by grabbing a balloon on that stage that takes you to another area that's a part of the stage, and then you get dropped back into the stage that you're in to continue running. But it looks like that's just for grabbing stars, which equate to points at the end of the level, which I'm not sure if that maybe also if you get enough points. I mean, usually in games, sometimes that'll give you another life up or something. I'm not sure if that's the case with this game. I didn't find that. I may have just not gotten enough points. I didn't play for long enough, maybe. But once you've made it through, you do fight a dragon at the end of each stage, which is kind of cool, and you blast it until it explodes into fireballs, which is kind of neat. But it seems rinse and repeat from there on out. I did get to the end of the second stage, fought the second stage boss, which actually was a pair of 2 ice dragons, which was kind of cool. And I started the third stage and I died, which it's kind of neat too. When you die on a stage, it will show you the boss that you were supposed to fight at the end of the stage. So in that case, it was like a dragon of darkness or something. It would probably be a pain in the butt to fight, but it was cool. It was interesting. And I'm sure there's a lot more to the game that I'm missing, but I only played obviously for a short time. And it's really fun if you can get a handle on the controls. The only problem that I did find with it is that if there's a lot of sprites on the screen, which it looks like Square was really ambitious with this, because some of the times there is a lot of sprites happening on the screen. And obviously the NES notoriously has sprite drawing problems, so there are times when you're playing and you don't even know there's an enemy there because the NES is just struggling to draw in the sprite so that you can see it. So you hit something and you just die, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But just really from a tech standpoint, the fact that this game even exists on the NES and has the 3D mode, I find it very cool and interesting. So all in all, I'd say if you have a way to try out this game, give it a shot. It's pretty cool. A lot of people give it crap, but I think it's very interesting. So yeah, try it out, find it. This is a game that is good to be remembered. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this content. I will be definitely making more of these videos. I found this really fun to do, really quick. And if you did like it, you know, hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see more of me playing games and things, I do stream on Twitch almost every single day, so you can find me there. A lot of the times I have a bunch of VODs up there. I'm currently playing Octopath Traveler. I do speed runs and a lot of other things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. I hope to have you come back, watch me play more games. And yeah, until next time, have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your morning, whatever time it is for you, and I hope to see you in the next one.